Hello and welcome to the DoDDS 2013 live coverage of the Final Four football championships from the KMC, and we are very excited about this new facility. We've got the two teams here that are big upsets, and we are very excited about this no matter what the weather's like. You know, we got rain on there, it was sunny earlier, and it seems like it's always football weather no matter when this championship comes around. It was in Baumholder for many years, and the weather's followed us up here to the KMC. Thank you for joining us on this coverage. You can watch us on the Pentagon channel if you're in Europe and streaming around the world on afneurope.net. Also, if you want to join in on the broadcast with us throughout our broadcast day, you can email us at final4football@gmail.com. That's final4football@gmail.com, and we're going to make sure that you know about that email address throughout the broadcast. My name is Luke Burns, and I'm joined in the studio by Jake Marlin and Coach Eric Majowitz. Good afternoon, gentlemen. You ready to do this?
Always a pleasure to be in the broadcast booth with you, Luke. Really looking forward to this game. Coming all the way over from AFN Benelux, and it's always an honor.
Well, I had to make the long trip from Baumholder. I'm sorry I brought the weather with you guys, but it's nice to, the new field. This is the first time I've seen it. It looks beautiful. It's state of the art. We're going to miss it in Baumholder, but I think K-Town's going to do a fantastic job this year.
Also running out our broadcast crew, we're going to have Valerie Lloyd down on the field. We're going to talk to her when we get a chance, and she's going to be keeping us updated on what's going on the sidelines. But let's take a little bit of talk about this new facility that we have here in Vogelway. We played the championship for years in Baumholder. Your hometown, Coach. Tell me a little bit about what that meant, to having the football championships right there in Minute Field.
Well, it was kind of a brainchild of all the coaches. They wanted to have all the games together. So in 2003, they decided to have all three games in one site. And for this, actually the 10th anniversary of the 11th rendition, for 10 years Baumholder hosted it, but drawdowns and everything, and now this nice new field here. In Baumholder, in one year you had the Super 8. There was 4 games, and by the end of the game the field was always soupy and everything. But on this field turf, we were out there earlier throwing some darts.
Yeah, we were checking we were actually checking the field conditions, but we were really just reliving our high school days. If you want to look at the head-to-head matchup here, we've got the Hohenfels Tigers, and that's a big training area. They're down near the Czech border in Bavaria here in Germany. And then we also have the Shape Spartans, and they're out of the Shape base, which is Mons. It's a NATO base. It's the home of the SACUR, and it's the military headquarters for NATO. And if you're going to be watching at home, you've got the colors there, black, blue, and white for the Hohenfels Tigers, and green and gold for the Shape Spartans. And you can see the school sizes there. Shape is a big school, but Shape is an international school. And this is something we want to make sure people are aware of. 8 different nations represented on the Shape Spartans, and so they have a little bit bigger enrollment, but the amount of football played is probably about similar because of the Americans that are at the school. It's a very small portion of it. Also, head coaches Randy Potter and Larry Daffin is squaring off in this battle. And Jake, tell me a little bit about Shape. I know you got a chance to cover a lot of Division II this year, and you got to see Shape on a number of occasions. What are we looking for the keys to the game from Shape?
Some of the keys to the game, Luke, for Shape are going to be their balanced offense. They have a great passing attack, which is something that's not that prolific through Division II football. But they also have the star running back, Connor Manning, All-European in 2012 and has been selected for the 2013 Dodge Europe All-Star team. And he is actually their leading rusher, has over 200 yards passing on the season, has just a boatload of touchdowns, and is one of their leading tacklers on defense. So he is all over the field.
And we've seen that with Shape all season. They got a lot of guys going both ways. Do you think that's going to be a problem for Shape in this game?
I don't think it's going to be necessarily a problem for them because they do have a little bit more depth than Hohenfels, as you can see from the size of the team standing on the sidelines. But I think that you're going to have to look at the seniors to really lead the Shape team whenever it comes to Clay Kuhn and Taylor Ader and Connor Manning being the big seniors coming out and being able to really lead their team on both sides of the ball.
And we're looking at the quarterfinal scores here, and this is what got us to this point. Shape had a big win at home over Vicenza. Ansbach big over Baumholder.
That hurt.
Sorry, Coach. And we also have a Hohenfels 38-28 over ISB, and ISB was a big surprise. They're one of those schools, International School of Brussels, and they snuck up and put some points on some people. And then Bitburg took out Naples big before the semifinals, and we'll talk a little bit about how we got there. But, Coach, tell me about the keys of the game for a Hohenfels. We're going to go ahead and take a break as we're getting ready for the singing of the national anthem. So on the field for the singing, Anthony White and Jason Lawson. So let's go ahead and observe this sharp-looking color guard and listen to our national anthem.
Will be Anthony White and John Lawson from Kaiserslautern American High School.
Anthony White and John Lawson there on the national anthem. And we did experience some technical difficulties, but I was glad when we did get to hear them because they sang beautifully. Coach, now back to the Hohenfels Tigers. We know what we're expecting from Shape. We know who to look at. We know we got Connor Manning. You know, he's been the force for that team all year. But who are we looking at with the Tigers?
Well, you got Connor Manning.
Go ahead, Coach.
Oh, sorry.
We're working this out. It's the beginning of the broadcast. We're going to work through it.
Connor Manning's counterpart on the other side of the ball, you have David Vidovich. He had 1,250 yards with 14 touchdowns this year. He's the workhorse. But Bitburg, they kind of slept on that. They went with him, but you got to watch out for Tony St. Amelis. He came on great toward the end of the year. I talked to Coach Daffman before the game. He was a move-in, so he doesn't know the aura, the aura, if you will, that Bitburg had. 36-game winning streak means nothing to him. They came in there and they shocked the world last week in Bitburg.
In the Hohenfels coaching staff, you can see it right there on the screen, and these are the guys that are going to put up the Tigers. And really, you know, on the offensive side of the ball, we saw in the big game against Bitburg, they decided to go away from Vidovich a little bit, and they started to go with St. Melius. And he came from a bigger school, didn't he? Didn't he come from a big school out in the great state of Texas?
I believe so, yes.
So he came in, and he was ready to play ball and didn't know anything about Bitburg. 36-game winning streak. 36 games, Luke. 4 titles in a row.
4 championships.
And it all came to an end with these Hohenfels Tigers. Now, I got a chance to read a little bit about the game. I wish I got to see because I heard it was just absolutely amazing. You know, Bitburg got out to a lead, and Hohenfels didn't give up, scored 18 straight points to go ahead and stop that streak at 36 games. And that's an unlikely result for a lot of people. And I think just seeing both these teams in the Division II title is unlikely in general. I like to see some other faces out there because Bitburg has been there every year.
Yeah, coming into the season, I actually saw Shape as one of the contenders in the North. For the South, I was like, well, Hohenfels is more of a dark horse. Maybe they can come up and sneak in there. Usually you're thinking Ansbach's just going to run the table in the South, and you'll see them there every year. But not the case this year, Luke.
Colonel Brian DeCoster on for the coin toss. We're going to go ahead and decide who's going to receive. Now, here's a question for you, Coach. Starting right off the bat, you know, you got this weather. We've got the rain, the wet field. Although it held up pretty good. Actually, they put water on this field on purpose all the time because it cuts down on burn. It evens out on some of the rubber pebbles that are underneath there. So do you want the ball or do you want to play defense first?
I'd play in this weather, Luke. I want to hold on to the ball security. I want the ball in the second half. I just want to see how it plays out here with the weather. Maybe the weather clears up a little, but wishful thinking.
The rain is really starting to come down here a little bit harder in K-Town. And I know that could play into the hands of Shape because Austin Epperjesse, they try and put that ball in the air. Austin Epperjesse has an interception every game this season for Shape, and they've been really good in the plus-minus area for the turnovers this year.
Now, Jake, I would imagine there's a lot of guys out there on this field that are going to be just like you. First time setting foot on this new modern version of the turf. I mean, how did you think it felt? You got to play football at a pretty high level, and so what are you thinking about these guys, first time ever on turf? How's it going to affect them?
I think it's going to affect the fact, we were talking to the Hohenfels coaches before the game, and the fact that they don't have turf cleats on. They are still using regular grass footwear, and that could affect their speed a little bit, their ability to get traction and be able to get turned upfield. So that was my concern about this artificial surface is whenever it gets wet like this, is it going to be a traction situation?
So Hohenfels won the coin toss, and they've elected to defer, which is pretty much the standard decision for every coach because they want the choice coming out of halftime. You got to decide where you're at in the game. Do you want the ball? Do you want to go back on defense? Just want to remind you, if you want to be a part of this broadcast at any point, please shoot us an email. We can't wait to do a check-in. We like to do this from around the world. Try to see how far away people email us from. It's final4football@gmail.com. It just popped up on your screen right there. Jot it down. If you're watching on afneurope.net, just open another tab, on your Google Chrome, and go over there and send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
We're already getting check-ins, Luke. We've got the Coach Vargas and family, former coach at Shape, checking in all the way from Phoenix, Arizona, says they're going to be streaming it on afneurope.net. We've also got Cheyenne Funk checking in with a big Go Tigers. So she's rooting for Hohenfels.
That's a great name, Chili Ewing. Right there, Shape Spartan.
And you can see the Shape Spartan coaching staff. And this is the thing about the Shape community. I know talking with Coach Potter, the amount of involvement in the community, everyone wanted to be a part of this football team. They showed grit. They were a one-loss team. They came into that Ansbach semifinal game, and a lot of people didn't expect them to be here. And I think that's for both of these teams. They both have something to prove, and we're about to tee it up and see what they can do.
And it looks like we've got a check-in coming from David Brackett, who played at Shape. And he wants to give a big shout-out to Connor Manning, Clay Kuhn, Taylor Ader, Austin Epper-Jesse, and Brett Kane, and tell them how far that he has seen them progress since he played with them back in 2011. So it's good to see a former player checking in there.
Austin Epper-Jesse back deep for the Shape Spartans. And here we go. 2013 Final Four. And if you're wondering how it's changed from Final Four, from the Super 6 to the Final Four, did away with Division 3, Coach. How did that go over in the Dodds community?
Well, you just want all the kids to be able to play, so they made a small independent league, 4 teams this year to play 9-man.
And the ball goes to the up man. It's a short kick, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and run it up the middle and just control the ball, and that's what we want to talk about here. We're going to see 2 hands on the ball because turnovers, Jake, are going to be a big factor in this kind of weather.
Turnovers are always a big factor in Dodds football. We've seen it sway a lot of games. We saw Shape almost drop a heartbreaker to International School of Brussels because International School of Brussels was able to recover a fumble and then turn the ball over themselves on the Shape 2-yard line to give that game away to Shape. So fumbles have really played a big part into the storyline for this Spartans team.
Brett Kane under center for the Shape Spartans, and Connor Manning. We're going to see a lot of him, and I would imagine we're going to see him on the first play unless they got something up there. And it does go to Connor Manning, right tackle, or off the tackle on the right side. Pick up of 5 yards, bringing up a manageable 2nd and 5 for the first play of the game. 11:43 to go, and we're going to try to keep you abreast of the clock situation because we got a scoreboard here. We're going to see it. Don't worry about the time. I'm going to do my best to make sure everybody knows exactly where we're at in the game. 2nd and 5 for the Shape Spartans, and they've got a double wide set. And it's a pop right up the middle. And stopped quick, fast, and in a hurry by 44 there for the Hohenfels Tigers. That's Logan Webb.
And Luke, your Shape starting lineup, your receivers are Stevens and Seth Kane, and then Lozar's your tight end. Your offensive line is Arroyo, Gomayo, Iverson, Kuhn, Aitor is your right tackle. Kane, Brett, the brother, is at quarterback. Your fullback is Ismail, and your tailback is Connor Manning.
So Connor Manning and Ismail in the backfield now. We've got motion on the play. And it goes to Connor Manning off the left side. He's looking to make the edge. He makes a cut, a great cut, but goes down just short of the first down. It's going to be very close. We're going to go ahead and see where they spot this. Looking there on our screen, it looks like he might have picked it up, but I think they're going to go ahead and call for an official measurement. because Shape looking to get first down here and move into midfield.
I think he's a football short there, Luke, looking at it from here. He got just past the 41-yard line. Looks like he needed about 41.5.
Now, if they're short, Jake, what do you do here? It's early. We've got a lot of time left on the clock. You're at midfield. Do you just trust your defense here, or do you go ahead and go for it?
Well, it looks like they are going to be a little bit short, Luke, and it looks like it is going to bring up fourth down and about a foot. And I think right now, if you're Coach Potter with a foot and you've got that big front offensive line, I think you have to go for it. Maybe a quarterback keeper for Kane, or you even go to that wildcat with Connor Manning in the backfield and just try and get that hard foot, because this is the championships. You can't leave anything on the table.
And it looks like Coach Potter's already made his decision, and he's going to go ahead and put the game back on his defense.
That's why I'm in the booth, Luke.
As we've got Gamboa for the kick. And it goes out of bounds at the Tigers' 42-yard line. So the Hohenfels Tigers are going to take over with their first possession of this championship Division II ball game with 10-18 left to go in the first quarter.
And the Tigers are really going to pay off from that decision by Coach Potter to punt, Luke, because they have great starting field position here. And their offense with Vidovich kind of driving the boat, I guess.
Well, it is raining, yeah.
They've had the ability to really drive downfields, eat up a lot of clock. So we're going to see if this plays off for them.
1st and 10, and the snap is bobbled. And it looks like the Tigers fell right back on top of the ball. And like we said, we're not going to be able to talk about it enough. We're not sure if you can really see, but the rain is continuing to come down. It's kind of hard to see on your TV there, but we're still seeing drops here on the field. And it's been picking up and letting off. And for a moment there, we actually thought we were going to get a little sunshine. We jumped the gun a little bit on that.
The sun peaked out for all of about 7.5 minutes, right around the time that the teams were arriving.
That's
here
about my
at
mile
the field.
run time there.
2nd and 10 now for the Tigers. So there is a hanky on the turf. We're going to go ahead and see what the call is going to be from the head referee. That's a holding call on the Hohenfels Tigers. That's a spot foul. So wherever the actual holding took place, they're going to go back 10 yards in that, and it's going to make it 2nd and long for the Tigers.
So we made it about 5.5 minutes into this game.
Before the first penalty.
Before the first penalty. That's pretty impressive for Dodds football, Luke.
And some keys to watch on this Hohenfels Tigers, and it's really all about Vidovich out there. He was the workhorse, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns this year.
14 touchdowns.
14 touchdowns, and they have a short season. Dodds football coach, how many games are we talking about here?
Well, when you have quarterfinals, Luke, you have 5 regular season games, and then if you make it all the way here today, this would be your 8th game.
So Vidovich in the backfield in the I formation. And it goes to Vidovich right up the middle. A missed tackle allows him to pick up about 4 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and long. And we're going to see if they've got anything up their sleeve other than this run game that has really carried this Hohenfels Tigers all the way to the championship.
Connor Manning really missed an opportunity to get him as he hit the original line of scrimmage. But that is something that Shape has to watch if they're going to have any chance in this game and any chance of stopping Vidovich, is they really have to wrap up and hit these guys.
So now 3rd and 18, and the ball goes to Tony St. Melis, who's trying to bust it outside, breaks a tackle, cannot escape the second one, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 11 yards for the Tigers. Gamboa on the tackle for the Shape Spartans. So with 4th and 10 to go from their own 43-yard line, the Tigers are going to give the ball back to the Shape Spartans here as the punt team is on the field. Wobbly snap, but they're going to get the kickoff. And a low spiral, it's going to give Eber Jesse a chance to return it. Goes to the right side, looking for room, and he's going to be forced out of bounds by St. Melis for the Tigers.
It's kind of a line drive kick, Luke. Really nothing you can do with it.
Well, you hope if you get those line drive kicks, doesn't that mean it's going to take longer for the punt coverage team to get to you? So doesn't that open up some lanes for these receivers or these return guys?
Touche.
I know when I was ever back there, I'd love to see a nice low kick, because that means they're not going to be on me, while I'm trying to catch this.
Well, also, Luke, with the wind, though, it's kind of like a missile coming at you. So.
And that is also a factor as we were out there throwing the ball a little bit around before the game. We could see the wind was pushing from right to left, so towards you from your point of view. Brett Kane under center, Connor Manning on the pitch, And a whistle, dead ball. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can even get outside with this soppy field out there. Now, we were talking, Jake and I were coming in as we were getting ready for the broadcast, and we saw sprinklers on in this turf, and we weren't sure exactly what was going on. And we talked to the maintenance crew, and they said it actually improves the field, at least for grip and for injury purposes. So that is going to be a 5-yard penalty here on the Tigers. 1st and 10 for the Spartans from the 37-yard line with 8:13 to go.
Which already the Tigers have taken starting good field possession on their first offensive drive and had it negated by a penalty. Right here, they've started the Spartans with bad field position and started giving it back with another penalty.
High formation for the Shape Spartans. And they're going to go with the same play. Pitch left to Connor Manning, who cuts it back up, finding some space, and he's going to pick up the first down. And this is what the Shape Spartans have gotten used to seeing all year. The ball goes into Connor Manning's hands, and he makes things happen.
There's not a lot that teams know about the Spartans before they face them, but the one thing they do know is the number 32, Connor Manning. Like we talked about earlier, he was the 2012 All-European player and has been selected for the 2013 All-Star game. And what's it like if you're a coach there, Eric, if you have an All-Star on your team like that?
Well, you're just proud that we actually in Baltimore, we had 3 last year. We get 1 this year. So we're very proud that our kids can go on and get recognized.
So Brett Kane with another pitch. Looking to get Seth Kane going on the run game as he was coming in motion and can't find any space. A pickup of nothing. Looks like he just got back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of 1. Bringing up 2nd and 11 for the Shape Spartans with 7:25 left to go. In the first quarter, by the way. I just want to make sure. I kind of left it hanging there. It was a dangling participle for you grammar junkies out there.
The Hohenfels starting defense, Coach Daffin runs a 5-2. He has Scholl and Walker are your ends, Gibson and Stanford are your defensive tackles, Wade the nose, Biles and Field your linebackers, and the rest after this play.
I love the 5-2 defense.
Another pitch to Connor Manning over the left side. He's hit early in the backfield. Great play.
Great read there, Luke.
That was Skylar Field who was busting through for the Tigers. And that's going to be a loss of 4 yards. 3rd and, we'll call it 14 from the Shape Spartans' 41-yard line.
And as you could see, Luke, whenever he was tackled there, whenever Connor Manning hit the turf, this wet artificial surface, he slid quite a ways before coming to a rest.
And now we've seen the Shape Spartans throw the ball a little bit this year, but it looks like they're going to commit to the run game here early. And just as I say that, Kane goes back to pass, looking for a screen pass to Connor Manning. Can't hold on to it. The ball is slick, and that's going to bring up 4th down now as they're right at midfield.
Yeah, that brought up nightmares there, Luke. They ran that little slip screen against us and just tore us up back there. The rest of the Hohenfels defensive backfield, McCoon and Webb are your corners. St. Melis and Vidovich are your safeties.
And as Gamboa is back for the punt, just want to remind you, you can jump onto your email and send us a message. Let us know what you think. You know, chime in from wherever you are. We've had people from China and from Africa, and we love to see how far away from people can shoot us an email. Final4football@gmail.com. Final4football@gmail.com. Connor Manning on the tackle on the punt team there, and you can see he's all over the field. And that's going to bring up 1st down for the Tigers from their own 35-yard line.
And Jake, you mentioned their cleats. You saw it right there on the return. He didn't have his feet underneath him.
I think that's going to be a factor throughout the entire game. We've got another check-in coming in from a former football coach, this time from the Hohenfels High School. Coach Ed Lynch coming in with a big Go Tigers.
And as the Tigers take over here for their 2nd possession of the game, the ball goes to St. Milius, who finds some space over the right side, breaks 2 tackles, and he is looking for more. And it looks like he's going to be picked up right at the 50-yard line. Connor Manning on the tackle there, the couple other Spartans.
Connor Manning, not only an offensive presence for the Shape Spartans, but he also averages 5 tackles a game, Luke. So he is a big key part to this Spartans team that is known for its ability to play Ironman football.
That was a 15-yard run there, Luke.
1st and 10 for the Hohenfels Tigers, right at midfield. 5:52 left to go in the first quarter. St. Melis and Vidovich in the backfield. The ball goes to Vidovich, looking for space on the left side. He cuts back, picks up a block, And he's still on his feet as the Shape Spartans
Carrying
getting
defenders.
carried by Vidovic. And he's finally brought down by a host of Spartans. Gamboa on the tackle along with several other guys. I could only pick out number 9 because it seemed like about he was carrying half that defense.
He kept turning those legs there, Jake.
That was just a great heads-up play for him to make a lot of guys miss, be able to get a lot of yards after contact, and that's what it's going to take in this hard physical football game.
1st and 10 for the
18
Hohenfels
yards.
Tigers now. From the Shape 31 as they are well into Spartans territory. The ball goes to St. Melius once again right up the middle. And it looks like he's going to keep pushing that pile. And the ball has come out, I believe, as there's a scrum on the field, or actually not necessarily a scrum. I feel like I need to be very specific about this. It's more of a ruck for your rugby fans. And it does look like they're going to give the ball to Shape here. Maybe they're going to discuss it. I have not seen an official signal yet.
That was Gage Iverson coming up with the ball.
And once again, like we talked about before the game, gentlemen, that ball security was going to play a big factor on this wet football field. Shape Spartans look like they came up with a big first quarter turnover to kind of stop that momentum, because it looked like there wasn't much that was going to stop the Tigers from putting it in for 6.
Yes, St. Melius was starting to get working, but now it's going to be back into the Spartans' hands as they go to Connor Manning, and he breaks a tackle, a great cut, looking for more space. Vidovic meeting him after a pickup of 9, but we did see a flag on the play, and that was right around the tackle. Be interesting to see if there was some face masking or...
Tackles never hold, though, right, Jake?
Holding on the Spartans looks like the call there, Coach, so...
Well, what does they say? What do they say about offensive linemen? If you're not holding, you're not trying.
You're not trying. That's right.
It's a paraphrasing Jesse Ventura. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
So that is a 10-yard penalty.
And Jesse
it's going to
Ventura
back up
would
the
know.
Spartans once again. Deep into their own territory now after the penalty. We'll say deep-ish here. I'm having a hard time with this field. There's no hash
say
marks, so it's a little bit
deep-ish?
difficult.
Oh, we've dealt with worse than no hash marks, Luke. We've called games with no scoreboards. We've called games with no
Microphones. We've done it all. Quick pop to Manning up the middle. Short pickup. Back to the original line of scrimmage. Excuse me, that was Ishmael on the carry.
Called me Ishmael.
2nd and 9 now for the Shape Spartans with 4:28 left to go in the first quarter. You're watching live coverage on the Pentagon Channel and streaming around the world on afneurope.net. We're here at the KMC on Vogel in a brand new football facility, and it is a beautiful area to play some football. Manning finding some space and breaking tackles, and he's going to pick up first down yardage. It's 13 yards on the carry. And now, are you going to him too much, Coach? Are we going to Connor Manning a little too much too early? Are they going to wear him out? What do you think?
I don't think you wear him out, Coach. Waterboy, last game of the season, can't hold anything back. I think you rode with what brought you.
And he definitely brought the Shape Spartans, including a huge upset under the previously undefeated Ansbach team in the semifinals. So both of these teams unlikely to be here, and they want to make sure they can start their own legend today on this field. Timeout on the field. Shape Spartan's going to discuss it. You're watching live coverage of AFN Football 2013 Final Four action. And remember, you can send us an email at final4football@gmail.com. Easy for me to say, final4football@gmail.com. We'll be back with more right here on AFN. And we're back with live coverage of your Dodge 2013 Final Four Football Championships from the KMC brand new football facility. And we're excited to be here bringing it to you on the Pentagon Channel and streaming around the world on afneurope.net. 3:29 left to go in the first quarter. 0-0 is your score. And one play while we were gone on the break as Connor Manning tried to find some space up the middle, couldn't get going. Pickup of 1, 2nd and 9 for the Shape Spartans.
Manning 7 carries for 36 yards so far, Luke.
And it's a reverse as it went to Manning originally. Brett Kane out as the lead blocker. Seth Kane on the reverse play, a pickup of 27 yards and a first down for the Shape Spartans as they move into Tigers territory with 3 minutes left to go in the first.
That first down, really a family affair. Big brother out there getting out and laying out the lead block for little brother.
Now, do you want your quarterback out there, or would you want him just to get out of the way and not get hurt?
He's a football player, Luke.
I like that answer.
He's like 140 soaking wet, though, right?
Yeah, well, if there's someone in front of you, you just want to hit him. And I think we all know, anyone who's ever played the game, you like that contact.
But the good news is the rain is letting up.
Connor Manning over the right side. A good cutback. Puts his shoulder down. Pickup of 7 on the play. Bring up a short and second and 3 for a short second down. And this opens up the playbook immensely for the Shape Spartans.
It really does, and they have so many weapons because Brett Kane has amazing field vision. Connor Manning can run the ball all over the field if he needs to, but he's also got a cannon on him, Luke.
Manning and Ishmael in the backfield, and it goes to Ishmael, who's trying to get over to the right side. And he's brought down by the Tigers. That was Angel Avila on the tackle, and now we're going to go down live to our sideline reporter as we've got airman Valerie Lloyd. Valerie, what's going on? What do you got for us?
I'm here with the parent of team captain number 21. And ma'am, tell me, how do you think the game is going so far for your son?
Well, so far it's going good. I think we have 2 equally great teams, and I have a feeling this is going to be a really interesting game all the way to the end.
And what grade is your son in, ma'am?
He's actually a junior. Yeah, so he has 1 more year in high school, and then he's done.
Well, good luck to him during the game and his senior year. And back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Val. Appreciate it. And we're going to keep checking back in with Valerie Lloyd on the sidelines. She's looking for stories and keeping us up to date on what's going on. On the last play, big tackle by Brandon Scholl as he caught Connor Manning in the backfield. 2nd and 9 now for the Spartans as they're moving deeper into the Tigers' territory. 1:25 left to go in the first quarter. Your score still 0-0. And it looks like we're just going to be sticking with the running game and the tough defense, Jake, and that's what we expected coming into this game.
Well, now that the weather's kind of starting to turn, where you've got the rain has stopped, the wind's starting to die down a little bit, and if this field starts to dry up a little bit, I look for Shape to try and get something going offensively with the passing game because they run a pretty balanced offense where they use the run to set up the pass and vice versa.
And, Coach, we're already seeing on the Bitburg side of the ball, Vidovic has been carrying them all year, and teams key on that. And then that's when St. Melius has been stepping up, and they've been going to him early and often.
Yeah, they're trying. What for Shape is they'll lull you to sleep with Connor Manning running it. Then they get you with that big halfback pass, or they find their big tight end over the middle on a seam route, and then it's game over.
Well, let's see if these Tigers creep up a little bit. Maybe they do air it out. And we did throw the ball around. It was kind of fun. We got out there because we wanted to see what the field was like. This is a brand new facility. $3 million went in this beautiful place. And we noticed that, the
Jake
ball.
led you too much.
Yeah, Jake did a flag route.
Come on.
He just overthrew me a little bit.
It was the best pass I threw all day, and Luke dropped
But we did notice, though, that the ball was drying out, and we could really
Yeah.
wing it at times. And so we'll see if they're going to do that. But they decided to keep it on the ground with Connor Manning. Pickup of 4 on the play. 3rd and 5 now for the Shape Spartans as we got 1 minute left to go in this first quarter.
Shape really needs to get the first down here, Luke, and try and put up 6. But the good news is that their field goal kicker, they have definitely got him into range. We've seen him hit a 46-yarder.
He had a 42 against Baumholder.
42 against Baumholder, too. Coach remembers that one.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
So he's one of the better kickers in Division II. So they're already in field goal range, so there's a good chance of them getting some points, but they really need to go for those 6.
Kane with the reverse play and his little brother, I got Kane on the brain because Kane gave it to Manning. Manning back to Seth Kane, the little brother. Looked like a huge hole, and it closed up rather quickly, but not before he could pick up the first down as the Shape Spartans are knocking on the door.
They needed to have one more boy, name him Nova.
Coach is going to be coming up with nicknames. Just get used to it, everybody. If you're watching right now, this is what you're going to get for the next few hours. We're covering both Division II and Division I live right here on AFN and streaming around the world on afneurope.net. Connor Manning and Ishmael in the I formation as Kane is under center, 2 wide. And it goes to Connor Manning, following the lead block of his fullback.
3, 2, 1.
And that's going to do it for the end of the first quarter. 0-0 is your score so far in this Division II championship football game. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more live coverage right here on AFN. Live coverage of the DoDDS 2013 Division II Championship. The Hohenfels Tigers taking on the Shape Spartans as we're getting ready for the start of this second quarter. And now we're going to go down to Valerie Lloyd, who's on the sidelines. What's going on, Valerie?
I'm here with Shelby. She's the only female on the Hohenfels team. And tell me, what's it like being the only female on an all-male team?
It's unique. I like it. They don't treat you really different because it is a male sport, but I do like being on a team.
And you said you're a junior?
Yes, ma'am.
And how is it being a junior?
This is my 3rd year playing it, and I really like it.
Well, good luck in this game. Good luck in senior year, and thanks for talking to me. And back to you guys in the studio.
And Connor Manning trying to find the end zone. Looks like he was stopped just short. Thanks, Valerie, for talking to Shelby down there. It's a great story, and we're going to go ahead and keep an eye on number 11 here during the ball game. So first and goal now for the Spartans from the 1-yard line as we begin the second quarter, and the Spartans ready to bust it in the end zone, and it goes to Manning. Of course, he's in. Touchdown, Shape Spartans, as they are on the board for the first time in this championship game. And I know, Coach, that's got to feel good to get some points on the board.
Yeah, they were closing out the first quarter, opening up the second quarter with a score. That's got to feel good. That was I'll come back with you on that.
All right, well then, Jake, I was going to ask you about this. So as a defensive player, you're watching the offense out there. They're marching down the field. They bust in the end zone. Does that hype you up? I mean, do you get excited about getting back out there and getting the ball back in your offensive hands?
It definitely does. It tells me that I have got to keep the momentum going that my offense has generated, and especially for the Shape Spartans, because a lot of these guys are the defense.
That's right. They go Iron Man a lot. And if you ever hear anyone mention that Iron Man, that means they play both offense and defense. So that's Adrian Domajan, who is the great kicker for the Spartans, and we've seen him really hit some big stuff. And I know in practice talking to the coaching staff, they say that sometimes he's just booting them. You know, he can really put it in there from 40 yards consistently.
Yeah, look, there was a 13-play drive capped off by Connor Manning's 1-yard touchdown run and the extra point.
11:46 left to go in the second. So that's a touchdown for the Shape Spartans. The first points on the board. 7-0 now as we begin right at the beginning of the second quarter. It's 11:46 left to go. And it looks like we've got Vidovic and Semelius back deep for the Tigers. The two main guys on offense, they're going to put the ball in these guys' hands any chance they get, and that includes the kick return team.
Well, now technically, Luke, Shape should be the home team due to having the better record, so don't know what snafu happened down there. But
yeah, we heard that on the way in. They had to switch jerseys, and we still didn't get an answer on why the Spartans aren't the home team, even though they finished with a better overall record.
But so far, this game has been exactly what it was promised to be, a hard-nosed, good fundamental football game.
Touch back there.
Yeah, man, Domajan, a low-line drive that skipped off this field turf, and that's going to be a touchback as the Tigers will take over on their own 20-yard line.
And the Tigers were really lucky on that one because that kick was pretty well over his head, but he reached up and tried to grab it. I think he might have got his hands on it, and had he knocked that down, the Spartans weren't too far off, so that could have really ended bad for the Tigers, but luckily for them, it bounces through the back of the end zone, and they get to start at the 20-yard line.
And the last time the Tigers had the ball, there was a turnover on a fumble, and Shape Spartans turned it into 7. So you know this defense is ready to go.
Well, if I'm the Tigers defense, I'm hoping that their offense can hold on to the ball and give me a little bit of a breather.
Flag on the plays. It looks like Taylor Ader was a little bit quick on that. But we'll see if he was drawn by an offensive lineman or whether or not he just wanted to get to that quarterback. Offsides on the defense, so that's going to give 5 yards to the Tigers, and they can start 1st and 5 now from their own 25.
And that's going to even up the penalty battle, Luke, with 2 apiece for the Tigers and the Spartans.
And covering DoDDS football, we've noticed turnovers, penalties. Those are huge stats, Coach, that I'm sure you guys track on the sidelines.
Yeah, normally it sounds cliche, but the more times you put the ball on the turf and cough it up, the less likely you're going to win the football game.
11:44 left to go in the second. Shape Spartans up 7-0. And another flag on the plays. I believe we had another Shape Spartan D lineman jump a little bit early. Now, I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to hear up here, but I'm wondering if they were going on first down, maybe on one that first couple series, and now they're mixing it up a little bit.
Mixing it up, trying to get shape, get out there. You mainly have to, the defense coach teaches you to watch the football. That's the main paramount.
I love these cheap first downs, though. 2 penalties, Jake. You got to love that.
Yeah, but as a defensive player, it's kind of demoralizing. You start beating yourself up.
Vidovich takes the quick pitch and still breaking tackles, and he's going to have the first down. Run of 11 yards on the play.
Now, something that the Shape defense has to watch here is you just got the 7-0 lead to start the second quarter. You got momentum in your favor, and you can't let little penalties and mental errors take away the lead that you've built here to start the game.
You drove 13 plays down the field, and you took it to Hohenfels' defense, and now you're just kind of giving it back to them.
Quarterback Clayton Pinheiro tosses it back to St. Milius, who's still going.
Vidovich, nice blocking out front there, Luke.
Yeah, he was well out in front of the play, and it's nice to have a tailback leading your fullback.
Well, St. Milius is lined up as your fullback, yeah. Just by the looks of him, you figure it'd be reversed.
Look, I thought he had enough room or enough space for the first down, but it looks like they're going to mark the ball just short, so second, and we'll call it 2 yards, a short, manageable opportunity for the Tigers as they're right at midfield. The ball's placed directly on the 50. And they surprise everybody on the Shape. I mean, I wouldn't say the Shape defense. I'm saying everybody here because we haven't seen the ball go to anybody but St. Milius or Vidovich up until that point. And that was A.J. Day on the carry. He had a huge pickup and really caught the Spartans on their heels, Jake.
Well, he had to kind of watch himself there on the end of that play because a Spartan reached in there, was almost able to pry that ball loose. So, once again, ball security could still be an issue for the Tigers, and they have to watch that.
26-yard gain there.
Clayton Pinheiro now is under center. And a pitch to Vidovich on the left side, looking for space, but there's outside contained. Gamboa got sucked in, and Vidovich tiptoeing down the sidelines, and we're going to see where he's marked. It looks like it's just inside the 10. First and 10, Hohenfels Tigers from the Spartans' 8-yard line, and right back in your face. It's like a counter punch, Jake. The Tigers now looking to tie the ball game up.
Well, and the Tigers showed in their first couple offensive series that they were able to drive the field, and they just had a couple of mental errors that negated all of their positive gains. But here we are, they seem to have gotten themselves lined out, and this is turning into a little bit of a fist fight.
So with 10:40 left to go, the ball goes back into St. Milius' hands. He shakes a tackle, still on his feet, and he's eventually brought down. Taylor Ader coming to make the big tackle.
He ran 30 yards there, Luke, to get about a 4-yard gain.
Excuse me, Clay Kuhn.
Barry Sanders will be proud.
Just want to make sure everyone knows Clay Kuhn was on the tackle because that was a touchdown-saving grab, as it looks like that St. Milius came up a little bit limping there. How does he look?
He looks a little shook up on that play there, Coach, and how big is that if he's not 100% good to go?
I think that there's a huge thing, and then Shape could just key on Vidovich, and I don't know what Shape has passing the ball. I know A.J. Day is a good receiver.
And it goes to Vidovich, and the Spartans goal line defense looks like they kept him out, but he just kept going, and we see the touchdown signal from the referee crew. Touchdown, Hohenfels Tigers. 6-7 now in our Division II football championships, and with the extra point, they could tie it up.
Great effort in yards after contact there to get that Hohenfels touchdown, Luke. But, you know, you always get on me for being on the officiators, but his forward progress was stopped well short of the touchdown. But they let that play develop, and it turns out to benefit the Tigers on that one. But it can't take away the effort by that kid, just driving his legs forward, never giving up on the play and putting it in for 6.
And the Tigers looking to take the lead with the 2-point conversion, and they give it up. I can't tell if he held on to it or if they did hand it off. Clayton Pinheiro trying to get in there, and they're going to be short, so that's going to keep the lead for the Shape Spartans, and I can already see it, the look on your face, Coach. And this is one of those adages that we hear all the time in football. If you don't convert on extra points, what's it going to do?
It's going to haunt you, haunt you, haunt you.
And it does. We see it all the time. Because we saw it last week with the big win with the Shape Spartans. It was a 1-point ball game, 23-22. And we're going to go ahead and take a break here. We'll be back with more live coverage on AFN. You're watching on the Pentagon channel or streaming around the world right here on the station serving America's best for 70 years. 7-6 is your score as the Shape Spartans have a 1-point lead. The Hohenfels Tigers just marched down the field, got in the end zone, but couldn't convert on a 2-point conversion. And we are ready to kick the ball off. Back again with 9:51 left to go in the second quarter. Austin Epper just short, but they go in and pooch it. Everyone's looking around at who's going to go and pick up the ball, and luckily, a heads-up play by the up man for the Spartans. So Christian Bryan deciding, you know what, I'm not going to let that ball just sit there on the turf. I'm going to go ahead and jump on that.
After 10 yards, it's a live ball, Luke. For my special teams, for Baumholder, special teams coordinator, we run an 8-2, so no one's going to get the onside kick for us. But the front guys, they don't know. If the ball's up in the air and you wave your hand, it's a fair catch.
So you can fair catch it just like on a punt or anything else.
And I think we've seen Coach Daffin for the Tigers make his intentions perfectly clear, going for 2 on his first touchdown and then going straight out with an onside kick. I think his intentions are clear here, gentlemen.
Brett Kane under center, and it goes back to Connor Manning. Strung out, he's looking to cut back, but can't do it as he's met in the backfield for a loss of 2 yards by the Hohenfels Tigers.
And Hohenfels scoring drive, Luke, it was an 8-play drive, a little over 2 minutes, and Vidovich on a 5-yard run. But the key part of it was the fullback belly dive, A.J. Day running 26 yards, key play on that drive.
Angel Avia on the tackle for the Tigers. 9:23 left to go in the second quarter.
And the Tigers' offense ran a pretty high tempo, speeded up offense for that entire drive.
Chip Kelly over there?
Seems to be the fad right now, is just try to keep that defense on the field and not let him substitute. I formation for the Spartans. Kane goes back to Connor Manning, looking to find someone down. He's got a man wide open. The catch is caught. And he's still going, and he's in the end zone. Austin Stevens releasing and finding some space and breaking a tackle, getting into the end zone as Connor Manning connects once again on a halfback pass. I believe that's his 3rd or 4th time he's done that this year. And I'm wondering, Coach, is there tape going on? Is there tape passing around between coaches?
You see it, you just can't stop it. It's just like, you just
because I'm sure you were ready for it, and you guys got burned for it in bomb.
We got burned for 50 yards. This one goes for 60.
Well, and the thing that Coach was talking about earlier is the fact that they do kind of lull you to sleep, where whenever they hand the ball to Connor Manning, you are so stacked up on the line ready to stop him cold, and then he takes about a 3-step drop and hits you for 60 yards.
Over the top, man!
It's a great pass on there just over the outstretched hands of the safety, and that was big for the Spartans as the kick is up and good. 14-0 Sheep Spartans over the Hohenfels Tigers. Excuse me, 6. It looks like a 0 if you just kind of glance down at our screen here.
It's understandable.
14-6.
Well, his
That's
checks,
why we have the
he has
graphic
a lot
up
of
there.
zeros on his check.
That's why we have the graphics up there, so everyone can make sure that they know what's going on, even if I don't.
But one big thing that I want to say is that both of these teams have traveled very well to this game. The Shape Spartans well represented, as well as the Hohenfels Tigers, and you love to see that because this is the Super Bowl of Dodds football.
And we weren't sure at the beginning of the games because it looked like a lot of teams or a lot of the fans came in late. I don't know if they were just sitting in their cars waiting to see if this rain was going to let up.
They were trying to find the gate to get in here.
You know, and that is a chore. I mean, we ran into the same problem as we were coming here to do our pregame stuff yesterday.
This is not your your grandfather's KMC area. It's changed a lot in just the past few years.
And just keep in mind, this is the Division II championship game, and we're going to be followed by the D1 game between the Ramstein Royals and the Wiesbaden Warriors. So keep it locked right here if you're watching on the Pentagon channel or streaming around the world on afneurope.net. The ball goes into the end zone, touchback. So the Hohenfels Tigers will take the ball back on their own 20-yard line after getting punched in the nose by the halfback pass. 8:54 to go here in the second quarter. All of a sudden, I can't read numbers. I don't know what my problem is.
And Connor Manning, 14 carries for 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Now he's thrown one for 60 yards. So
I think everybody knew what the shape plan was.
Let's see him catch one, Luke.
That's the trifecta. Vidovich breaking it outside, cuts back, still on his feet, and just missed tackle after missed tackle. I don't know how much longer the Shape Spartans defense is going to be able to hold off these Hohenfels if they can continue to break tackles like this.
They're going to have to figure out something for the Spartans defense to be able to stop Vidovich, because if they don't, he's going to keep marching it down the field on him. He's going to keep eating the clock away, and they don't need to try and pull off any more fourth quarter heroics like they have the entire season.
3 wins this year of less than 10, Coach? Is that what we were discussing a little bit earlier?
They're eking it out, but hey, a win's a win.
And both St. Millis and Vidovich breaking tackles. And here's St. Millis. And it looks like he's got just back to the original line of scrimmage, bringing up 2nd and 10 for the Tigers.
And that's one thing that has kind of plagued the Spartans throughout the year is from one series to the next, you don't know which Spartans defense is going to show up. The one that gets a flag thrown every play or the one that's going to stop you like that cold in your tracks.
Taylor Ader on the tackle. Vidovich and St. Millis in I formation for the Tigers, and you just don't know who's going to get the ball. So both of them has been able to get some stuff going, and it's Vidovich this time around. Tripped up right at the first down marker. Looks like he got it. That was Brett Kane coming up from the safety position for the tackle.
And Day out in front there, Luke. Great blocking for him.
7:41 left to go.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that spot there, Luke, because the absence of hash marks here is really kind of driving me crazy.
I didn't think it would be that big of a deal when they were telling us about it before when we were talking to the grounds crew. I was like, we should be just fine, but I am noticing it. It's kind of hard to track, so we're going to try to keep you informed here on the broadcast about right where the ball's at. And the Tigers do have 1st and down from the 48-yard line as there's a flag on the play. Vidovich hurdles someone in the backfield looking for space. Beats Epper Jesse with a move to the outside.
That kid has got some speed.
Yes, he does. He hit L2 and R2 right after it.
Touchdown saving tackle by Brett Kane.
But I think it's all for naught, Luke. I think it's coming back. I think he only had 6 men on the line.
So a legal procedure call is the prediction by Coach here. We're going to go ahead and see if this is going to come back.
Fantastic run by Vidovich, though.
Yeah, he found some space and hit that extra gear.
I think it was the right tackle move just before the snap.
Oh, that's got to be a heartbreak after that long run. Plus, especially when you're there panting, you just put out all that effort.
Come on, get in the games. Playoffs.
Playoffs? 1st and 15 for the Tigers after the 5-yard penalty. It's going to back them up to their own 42-yard line. 7:10 left to go in the half.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take up another hobby after this weekend. Look, I'm going to have to take up knitting or something now the football's going to be over.
Well, that's why we're just going to focus on fantasy football.
Now,
We're just going to focus on our fantasy football.
Oh, that's even worse news.
The gray skies rolling over the field here in KMC. Beautiful new facility. They got the new version of the turf, not that AstroTurf that we knew growing up. This stuff feels like real grass, and it has these little pellets underneath it if you haven't had a chance to walk on it. And, Jake, this is your first time, and isn't it a weird sensation?
It's like walking on slick green clouds.
Taylor Ader on the tackle, and that was St. Millis on the carries. Pickup of 6 yards, so 2nd and 9 now for the Tigers.
And if you are going to be coming down to Vogelway to join us here at the stadium, just be aware that there are MPs sitting in the parking lot clocking at the end of the end zone.
I love that. We're giving traffic reports here live on AFN television. But good, though, because whoever listened was like, done. 30 miles an hour here on Vogelway.
For safety purposes only.
No gain on the carry. 3rd and 10 for the Tigers.
Now, as the sun sets and it starts to get dark, I know that the Spartans haven't really got an opportunity to play much football under the lights. You know, they play a lot of Saturday afternoon games at 1 o'clock. So getting the chance to play under the lights here, does that affect things, the way the shadows lay on the field and everything?
I don't believe so. I think that the lights are pretty much as natural light as you can get.
We're going to have more live coverage for you right here on AFN. You're watching the station serving America's best for the last 70 years. And welcome back to live coverage of DoDDS football. The Final Four, you might remember it as the Super 6, or I believe they called it the Super 8, and we all agree it should have been the Elite 8 back in those days. But Vidovich on the carry for the Division II Hohenfels Tigers, and they're taking on the Shape Spartans. And I want to take this opportunity. We really haven't addressed it all that much, guys, but we were just amazed when we were seeing the results from last weekend's semifinal games as this Hohenfels Tigers stopped the streak of the Bitburg Barons. Now, Coach, tell me what that streak really meant to Dodds football. I mean, 36 straight, 4 straight championships. Is this an end of an era, or do you think it was just a hiccup in the playoffs?
I honestly think, Luke, they needed to lose a game in the regular season. That opportunity did not present itself. The closest anybody came was Shape being 16-0.
16-0 in that ball game. 5:41 left to go in the half. Pitch goes to Vidovic. He can't find any space. He's met in the backfield by Brandon Benesh. And we're going to go down to Valerie Lloyd. Valerie, what's going on the sidelines?
I'm here with Wendy Wade, mother of number 55 on Hohenfels' team. And ma'am, I specifically saw your outfit in the crowd. And how do you think your son is doing so far?
He's doing great. He's laying down some wonderful blocks so that David and Tony can run that ball down the field, and hopefully we're going to get another score soon.
And you said he's a junior, correct? So what are his goals for his senior year?
He wants to make some good grades and score high on the SAT so that he can get into Texas A&M University and join the Corps of Cadets there.
Oh, that's very exciting. Well, thank you for being such an exciting fan, and thank you for talking to me, and back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Valerie. And while we were talking to her on the sidelines, St. Milius was met in the backfield for a loss on the play, and that was Fernando Royo breaking through and stopping him for a loss. 3rd and long now for the Tigers. It's going to be 14 yards here they're going to need for the first down as they just cross midfield from the Spartans' 44-yard line. Timeout on the field. And, Coach, we were talking about Bitburg and they're not here. And I think it's great to see some new faces because we saw basically the same 2 teams for how many years?
Well, the past 4 years, Lucas, Bitburg winning at 4 straight. Ansbach, from 2002 to 2011, they were in the championship game all but 1 year. So, I mean, it's nice to see some new blood in there.
Well, and talking about Ansbach getting upset by the Spartans to bring the Spartans to this championship game, they have the 2nd longest winning streak spanning from 2006 to 2009 at 31. So for 36 game winning, that was the longest streak in Dodds history, but 30 game winning streaks, 20 game winning streaks, they happen.
That's pretty impressive.
They happen a lot more than we think because there have been 6 teams with 20 or more consecutive wins in Dodds football history.
Now, do you see that, Coach? Because there'll be a period of time there where, the way it works in our military communities is that you have an influx of people coming, people going. So is it just when you get 4 years or 3 years of some really talented guys in these communities?
Well, like talking to Coach George in Ansbach, he had 12 senior linemen and 7 of them he had 12 seniors, 7 offensive linemen were seniors, so experience helps.
So a mist is coming now as it looks like the rain is starting to pick up a little bit, and the Tigers opt to keep the ball on the ground with Vidovic and a pickup of 5 yards, but that's still going to bring up a 4th and 11 as they are on the Shape Spartans 40-yard lines, and it looks like they're going to go for it.
And as the rain begins to come down here in K-Town, we'd love to know what the weather's doing where you're at. So make sure you check in at final4football@gmail.com. We've got the iPad up here in the booth with us.
And a huge block by Vidovic. You see absolutely laid out the linebacker for the Spartans.
He had to get inside the 30, but
that was a big hit, and it looks like the chains are already moving. Let's see where the spot ends up as St. Milius picking up the first down on 4th. So a gutsy call there, Coach. You're going to go out wide like that? You're going to give him a chance, or are you going to try to pound it up the middle, or maybe a trick play?
I don't think in the middle is where you want to go with Ator and the others up there.
That's true. There's a strong defensive line for the Spartans, and so they decided to stay outside of it and pick up the first down. Another big block by Vidovic as he is continuing to just lay out defenders, his leading blocking for St. Milius, and that time that would be Royo Brandon Benesh, who caught Vidovic's helmet right in the chest.
Which is amazing because he's not that big of a kid compared to the big guys that Shape has on the defensive side of the ball, but he's just athletic. He's able to really lay some monstrous hits on these guys.
So something to keep an eye on there. When the ball doesn't go to Vidovic, then he's laying some monster blocks, but the ball does go to him this time. Slips the tackle and picks up the first down as he moves even deeper into Spartans territory. And the Tigers are looking to go right back in the end zone after the huge touchdown pass by Connor Manning for the Spartans on the trickeration halfback pass. It seems to be getting teams all year because as they crowd the line, it just opens up that trick play for the Spartans, and they got another 7 off it this week.
And Luke Vidovich already over 100 yards. He's got 112.
In the first half with 2:40 left to go, and they're knocking on the door deep in Spartans territory, 1st and 10, so they can pick up a first down without getting in the end zone. It goes to St. Melius, but the Spartans are swarming. Clay Kuhn wrapping up the Tigers running back. Flag on the play, though.
They snuffed that out in the backfield, but did he get an early jump, Luke?
Let's see what the call is on the field. Personal foul, horse collar.
I don't know where he's getting that one from, Luke. I didn't see that one unless it was away from the play.
And that is enormous. 1st and 10 from the 11. They're going to go half the distance now, and that's going to be a first down for the Tigers. So with 2:23 left, down right now.
And that's the 4th penalty on the Spartans, and all of them are coming from the defensive side of the ball, Luke. So these guys, I don't know if it's the fact that they're getting tired since they are playing both sides, or if it's they're excited or what's going on, but they've cost their team 4 penalties and a lot of field position.
So official timeout. Looks like they're going to discuss something. I think they're having a problem on the far side with the first down marker. Looks like they got it all situated. So we're going to go ahead and wind the clock now with 2:23 left to go in the half. Shape up 14-6 on Hohenfels, but Hohenfels has been moving the ball, chewing up huge chunks of yardage with their dual threat running backs, St. Melis and Vidovich. Pinheiro under center. St. Melius off the left side, breaks it out, and he's got a clear path into the end zone. Touchdown, Hohenfels Tigers.
Now, Coach, if you are the Tigers' offensive coordinator, are you going in for 2 again, or are you going to play it safe and take the extra point?
I go for 2 now to go for my earlier miscue.
And it's going to be interesting to see the way that he handles this, because last time they scored, going for 2 early in the game and then going right back at him with the onside kick. And they will go for 2. Snap off, tries to hurdle a player, but it looks like he is going to be stopped short again. And the Shape Spartans coming up with a big stop to keep your score, the Shape Spartans 14, Hohenfels Tigers 12.
Now, Coach, there's a chart typically for going to 2 or going for 2. Now, on the chart, does it say that's a situation to do that, or are you just trying to get points on the board?
To make up for my earlier miscue, as I was telling Jake, I would have went for 2 in that situation. I'm thinking Coach Daffin doesn't have, faith in his kicker right now. If this is the case, if he's just going to keep going for it. I don't see him doing another onside kick, though.
Yeah, that was a gutsy call there after their first touchdown, so let's see if they can go ahead and send it downfield.
But I see him trying to come out and maybe squib it to try and keep it out of the powerful return hands of Austin Epper, Jesse, because that kid has the ability to make people miss and be able to really get some good returns.
2:05 left to go in the ball game. And we're going to go ahead and take a break here. You're watching live coverage on AFN, streaming around the world on afneurope.net with the station serving America's best for the last 70 years. We'll be back. And welcome back to the KMC in the brand new football facility here on Vogel Way. And the kickoff just returned by Gamboa. It was a big return, bringing it out to midfield as the Shape Spartans are going to have great field position to begin their drive with 1:55 left to go in the second quarter. So we're nearing halftime. The Tigers just in the end zone for the second time, but missing the 2-point conversion, giving the Spartans a 2-point lead with less than 2 minutes left to go in the half.
And Luke, all the scoring happening in the second quarter. First quarter 0-0. Now it's 12-14 Shape.
Now, do you think that that's because the coaches started to get a better feel for play calling, or do you think the guys are just a little bit tight here to start the championship game?
They're trying to loosen up, Luke, and plus, again, not much experience on a turf field.
2nd and 5 now for the Shape Spartans from the Tiger 45. Connor Manning over the right side, finds some space, and he's still going, and he goes out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1:22 left to go. The Hohenfels Tigers on the sidelines watching his defense get chewed up by the running game of the Spartans.
Let there be light.
And I love having these lights come on the field. This is something that we don't get to see in dance football. A lot of games starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday, so it's nice to give them that feel of the Friday night lights only on a Saturday. Connor Manning once again over that right side, and it looks like they're just going to keep going to the right side. Now, Coach, is that because they have strong linemen, or is it the opposite? Is it weak linemen on the defensive side over there?
I think, well, you're trying to, when you game plan, Luke, you look at their strengths and your weaknesses, and you try to match it up as best you can. But if that's the case, then if I'm Hohenfels, I start cheating over to the other side. But then again, Shape's going to come back with a counter with Manning, so he's going to get his yards.
That's for sure. 1:17 left to go. Brett Kane under center. The Spartans get ready. 1st and 10 now. Right back to Connor Manning and a pickup of 5 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 5 from the Hohenfels 15.
And every time Hohenfels gets into this game, the Spartans come back with huge swings in momentum the entire game from the first kickoff.
And you can see the rain coming down in some of our coverage here as all these players soaked to the bone. It's cold out there. I don't know if they're feeling it right now, but they might feel it when they come to the sidelines.
50 seconds in the quarter.
48 left to go here, and it goes to Connor Manning, the pitch, and he's met in the backfield by the Tigers. It's going to be a loss on the play, bringing up 3rd and 7.
And the Spartans really need to capitalize here on this, what could be the final drive of the first half, and go into the locker room with a huge lead in this championship game.
Brett Wade on the tackle for the Hohenfels Tigers defense. 3rd and 7 now as there's a timeout on the field. Shape Spartans want to go ahead and discuss it a little bit here as they're looking to take the lead even higher going into the half. And that's something that you're always looking for as a ball player. You want that lead in the half, and the bigger the better.
Well, right now they do have a lead, but with a field goal, the Tigers could be back on top. Whereas if they can punch it in here, that's going to give them a 2-possession lead.
And it looks like Manning banged up on the sidelines there as he's limping off the field. Maybe that's why they called the timeout, to give him a little breather there, because they've been giving him the ball and 90% of the time.
Well, earlier in the season, right before the playoffs actually, he had a high ankle sprain. So I know that they kind of tried to scale back his workouts, tried to scale back his role in practice for a few days to make sure he was going to be 100% for this whole Super 4 playoff. But we're going to see if it affects him here.
And a pass on the play. It's intercepted. St. Milius on the interception, and he is still going. One man to beat, and he gets him. Ishmael can't make the tackle, and St. Milius is gone. A touchdown.
90 yards, Luke.
I'm looking for flags.
And there is a flag on the play back at the 30-yard line. It looks like it might be an interception, maybe a block in the back. Maybe the touchdown doesn't stay here, and I bet that's going to be heartbreaking for both St. Milius and the Hohenfels Tigers fan base and team.
As a quarterback and a quarterback coach, I'm just livid at my quarterback. He threw it flat-footed, nowhere near anybody, and St. Milius is like, thank you.
Well, and one problem that Brett Kane has had throughout the season is the fact that he doesn't necessarily drive the ball whenever he tries to put it downfield. He puts a lot of air underneath it and lets it hang up there, and secondaries just love him for that.
And it looked like it squished out of his hand a little bit, kind of a duck. It didn't look like he had quite a handle on it, and so it was easy pickings for St. Milius, but it does look like the play is coming back. No touchdown, but that is going to give the ball to the Hohenfels Tigers with 12 seconds left to go in the half, and that's huge, that penalty right there.
Yeah, the throw wasn't quite Gary or Permian, but it's pretty close.
It looked more
Look
like
it up, kids, Wikipedia.
It looked like a Jake Marlin throw.
No, you threw that beautiful,
yeah,
nice
he did try to hit
route.
me in the flag route. I couldn't get any footing out there. No one can out there.
It's this artificial surface.
Well, I was wearing rain boots, and I still am actually here in the booth. So that's
well, you were layered, you know. Hypothermia can happen anywhere. I learned that on the FN.
So the Tigers take over, but the touchdown comes back. 1st and 10 now from the Tiger 20-yard line with 12 seconds left. Barring a huge play, doesn't look like anything's going to get going here before the half. And it looks like they've got Brett Kane, the safety, very deep, making sure nothing gets behind him here. And the pitch goes to Vidovich. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and be content to let the clock roll out here and go right into halftime, down only 2.
Now, look, do you remember, did Hohenfels deferred for the second half?
They did, so they're going to get a chance to receive the ball probably right after the half.
So they come in with a little momentum. They would have rather had the touchdown.
Of course they would. And you got to imagine the breath of fresh air the Spartans are feeling right now.
Well, and I know Coach Potter's going to have some words to say about that in the locker room at halftime. But the Tigers also have to look at that and say, hey, we cost ourselves because of that flag. And penalties so far have been a big part of this, with both teams having 4 penalties shaped, all 4 of theirs coming on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, it's been a great game so far. I've really enjoyed the first half. We've been up here just kind of seeing this punching battle back and forth, this running game back and forth, a couple attempted passes, and it hasn't really been working out really good. But we're going to go ahead and see how it plays out. When we come back, we've got halftime right now, and we're going to go down to an interview with Valerie Lloyd before we take a break. Valerie, what's going on?
Head coach of the Hohenfels team, and sir, you guys just had an amazing interception, and how do you think the rest of the first quarter went?
I think we were a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous. Came out, we made a couple of mistakes. We're starting to get into it though. I think second half would be better. We just got to maintain our composure, stay focused, and I think we'll turn things around. So.
And I know you guys came all the way to Kaiserslautern, and you're playing on this brand new turf field. And how does that compare with your practice field?
A whole lot better. The kids love it out here. It's wonderful condition. This is a tremendous facility, so we'll play on it.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Thanks for talking to me, and back to you guys.
Thanks, Valerie. And you can really see the rain-soaked, Valerie, we've got the coach over there, water's dripping off hats, faces. It's a crazy game here, perfect football weather, and we're going to come back with more coverage, second half action live right here on AFN. Stay with us.